Hello, everyone. Hi, how are you? Hope all are well. We will just wait few seconds until we have. Hi, Olia. Hi, can you hear me? Hi, hi, Olia. Let's have a proper connection and then we start. We are already live. We are already live. We are live already, Olia. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Olia.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yes.
Excellent.
Yes, I will try to also connect here on my phone to be able to see the comments. We still have nobody live with us. We have just few minutes to prepare ourselves.
Okay, perfect. I know. I'm sorry about my connection is quite bad here.
It's okay. You are in Italy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where is that? I'm trying to find our live here. We are on Bridges of Light, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
But I cannot see myself here. Sorry, we are wasting some time for the audience, but we are waiting for the audience to come. And in the
Yes,
meantime,
exactly.
I will try to find the conversation here. Can you are using a laptop, right?
No, I'm on my phone. I couldn't connect on a laptop.
Okay. All right. Okay, I can see now. I can see now. Great. I will just set up myself. Well, that's me. There is something wrong with the connection.
With mine?
No, no, my connection here. I'm trying to see. Have a look. Look
Uh-huh.
how this is how we
Oh,
are appearing now on Bridges of Light. So there is something wrong. Okay, what's happening here? All right, just 1 second. Just 1 second.
yeah, yeah. No worries.
I'm back, but there is something wrong in the. I will go and come back.
Okay.
I hope somebody from Bridges of Light can help and confirm that we are really live. We are wasting some time, but still we don't have audience, so it's okay.
You can see both.
Sorry.
You can see both. You can see the Facebook Bridges of Light and what we have.
Yeah, on different. I'm using here the desktop.
Ah, okay.
So on the desktop we are doing the hosting in the desktop here. Okay, now it looks like working. Now it's
Okay.
okay. Okay. So, anyways, most welcome, Olia. We will start our discussions, even though we don't have anyone yet.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, never mind because they can see it. We'll start having people. Hope more people will come.
Okay.
Okay, Kausar Shariya. Kausar, hi Kausar. How are you, Kausar? Kausar from Lebanon is watching and hope she is well. Stay tuned, Kausar. Olia, first of all, I
Yes.
want to welcome you, and I have
Thank
the
you.
honor and the pleasure to interview you because you are, to me, a very special person.
Thank you.
I didn't know you since very long time, but knowing about you and reading your CV and how from a famous tennis player in Russia, between brackets,
Yes.
you went to the United States of America, and then there you were connected to some multinational companies with executive positions, and then you came to Italy, and maybe your life changed in Italy or in the United States. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you. This is a really lovely introduction. Yes, what you said is very true. I was born and raised in Russia, and in the middle of the big perestroika time, if you remember, it was early 90s when the wall came down and the Cold War was officially over. I had the opportunity to go to United States and use my professional tennis skills to join one of the universities there. At the time, really, until that time, all I was really dreaming about is just being a famous tennis player, or not even that, just playing. I really just enjoyed playing, and that was my life. And so with that, the university offered me a scholarship for tennis, and I was really lucky to join. I said, why not? I'll go. I actually said to myself, I'll go play tennis and I see how it goes. I see what America is all about, because in Russia we were told America is evil and it's capitalism that is the evil of this world. So then I said, I want to see. So I picked up really my tennis rackets and I went, not thinking of staying there long term. But then after I've stayed there for about a year and I got to know, what life is about, at least college life, and I got to know, people my age, Americans, and I saw that they're normal people. There's nothing really so crazy that I was brainwashed about. I thought, actually, let me hang out here because I think I might like it. And in fact, what I did is I stayed. I finished the college. I played tennis for 4 years there, and I took up studies, and I decided to complete. So 4 years later, there was another choice for me. Okay, what do I do now? Do I go back? Do I continue playing tennis, or do I try to join the corporate world? Because now I've got the American education and I can do that. And at that time, I was actually getting a little bit tired of tennis. It's been a long time, it's been all my life, and it took me to places. And I said, let me just try something else. And so something else was I joined the corporate America. And I was very ambitious at the time. I watched the movie Wall Street, and immediately I said, this is me. I want to go there, make my $1 million, be the big executive. This is what I'm going to do. And so I went with my head down, doing all that stuff. And actually, I did quite well. I climbed the corporate ladder very well. I was very hardworking. I was very ambitious. I went to get my MBA while I was working at nights. So I really gave it my best shot. And after 10 years, I was offered a high position, a director of finance position, and a promotion to go to Italy. And I said, why not? I was kind of like climbing. But then, the more I was climbing and the more I was successful in that field, I was thinking, I'm not feeling any happier actually. And that's when I started really searching, and saying, like, okay, I thought I would be happy when I played tennis well, and I wasn't really I didn't find so much happiness there. It was great, yes, but it wasn't like my life was so fulfilling. Then I was climbing the ladder in the corporation, and again, while I was climbing, I was ambitious and I was quite, joyful. But when I got to certain levels where I thought this is it, I would be so happy once I get there. I got there and I wasn't any happier. So, of course, I started having some kind of crisis, personal, and I was thinking, where am I? I'm in the middle of my life. I thought by this time I would be now finding my life's purpose and be happy, and I'm not.
Yes.
And so then I started opening my eyes to other things. And I tried things. I actually encountered yoga, and that was a big turnaround point for me. And I tried other holistic disciplines, and they were all very useful until one time I found Ayurveda, and it was just in one conference that I went to listen by pure curiosity. But in the half an hour I was listening to that lecture, I literally just like couldn't breathe, because everything I heard, to me it was like the answer to all other questions I was looking in my life. It was there. So I knew I had to go that way. And that's kind of, I was still working in corporation. I was still, employed and living my life, but I started moving in that direction. I started exploring. And that was about 8 years ago. So from that point on, actually, I've had some real deep personal searchings. And I've also realized at some point that this was it. I reached the point where now or never, I have to go and listen to my soul and not so much to my brain, because until then I was listening a lot to my brain. And that was a big turnaround point for me, because it was very scary. I have to tell you, it was really paralyzing me. The fear of abandoning everything I've learned for 40 years, everything I worked for, everything I've studied for, everything I thought is important, and just following my heart. But once I got through that agony of fear and that frozen state, which lasted, some months, maybe even a couple of years, all of a sudden something unblocked. And, everything changed in my life, from my personal relationship to my professional relationships to my understanding of life. I even, for years I was told I couldn't have a child. Just that's what I was told by doctors. And all of a sudden I had a baby. It was just like everything opened up. Life just opened up for me. And that to me was the clear indication I'm going in the right direction.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
this is a long way of telling a very long story.
Yes. But it's a nice story, and it's a good example for everyone, because sometimes we are lost. We go on a different plan, which was we were supposed to be on that road, but something happens and it can change all our lives. So we will talk about now. The subject of our interview is Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a philosophy. It's an ancient philosophy, 1,000 years of age, and the main theme of Ayurveda, as I understand, and I want you later to shed more light on that. The Ayurveda thinks or specify or describes that human beings are divine creatures. And a divine creature, when he is born, the soul is born in a body. This body should work perfectly well in harmony. But in our lives, we change this harmony by in our way of life, in our habits, eating habits, thinking habits, and all these things. So please introduce the Ayurveda for us, and tell us later. We will see how this will help us in our lives.
Yes, what you said. By the way, can you hear me well? Is the connection well?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Yes.
Okay. What you said is absolutely true. According to Ayurveda, we are, they say it, Purusha Chikitsya in Sanskrit. It's like what we are is we're a combination of 25 components, really. And it's like a triangle, right? Like a pyramid. And we have our, at the top, we have our soul, then we have our body and our mind. And this is a like a human tripod. And we are perfect as we are. Yes, when we come here, well, there are some, of course, influences of karma and previous incarnations and everything that we've accumulated over previous
Correct.
lives. But we come here, and our body and our mind really are like, if you think about a machine, when you go and you buy a car, right?
Yes.
It's something to help us live in this planet, in this physical dimension.
Yes.
Okay, and Ayurveda says that these 25 components, actually 20 of these components are body. We have our body is made of 5 gross elements, right?
Yes.
It's space, air, fire, water, and earth. And like everything else in this universe is made of those same elements. And that's why we all interrelate, actually, on this earth very well. We also have 5 subtle elements, like we have hearing, we have seeing, we have a sense, touching, we have smelling, tasting. We have sensory organs. We have mouth, for tasting. We have ears for hearing. We have eyes for seeing, skin for feeling the touch. We have movement organs. We have hands, we have legs. They serve us. We have mouth for eating. We have reproduction organs. Um, so this is body. This is physical machine that's working. Then we have our mind, and mind is comprised of 4 elements. We've got the thinking mind, manas. We have our subconscious mind, which is chitta in Sanskrit, but this is a big storage, hard disk of everything ever happened to us.
Yes.
We have ahamkara, which is our ego, our personality to live on this planet. And we have buddhi. Buddhi is our intelligence. It's our ability to really judge and separate, good from bad. It's when it's working properly, it's really discriminating in favorably, what is really happening. So the 20 elements of the body, the 4 elements of the mind, and the 25th one, which is the only conscious really component, is our soul. And in a metaphoric way, if we think of this whole system, right, these 25 components of who we are, the soul is like a driver of that car, right? We have a car with the wheels, with the doors, with the lights, with windshield cleaners, everything. We need everything. We cannot function. We cannot go anywhere if we have one wheel or we have not one flashlight. But the soul is not the engine. The soul is the driver. The soul really is the one deciding where to go, why to go. So unfortunately, in the nowadays, and we are all living thinking that we are our mind, right? We all say, I am because I think. But Ayurveda says, not really. You are because your soul is here. And the soul is the one that is coming here and using this machine, this perfect human body and mind, to do
Yes.
what it came here to do. The only thing is that most of the time it's asleep because we don't let it awake.
Let me ask you a question here, please. You said there
And
is a
so what
mind.
happens? Yeah.
Yes, you said the mind and the spirit, or the mind and the soul,
So I
right?
can hear you.
You cannot hear me. You cannot hear me now.
No, because it's interrupting a little bit.
Okay. No, you just said, are you hearing me well now?
Better. Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe we'll have to give a little gap between my talk and your talk so it will not interfere. My question is that you said the
Okay.
soul, you said we have the mind and the soul. And both are, these two things are both subtle, spiritual, or what is physical and what is non-physical, and they are not the same thing. Can you explain that?
What is physical and what is not physical?
The mind
Is
and
that
the
the
soul.
question?
The mind and the soul, are they two different things?
Well, it is, in a way it's different because the soul is not a physical component.
Yes.
Okay, the soul is invisible.
Yes.
The soul is the only conscious divine component. It literally is divine. Okay,
Yes.
it is coming here on this earth to fulfill a certain mission.
Yes.
Everybody has its own mission, right? But
Correct.
in order to do this in this physical dimension, we need a physical body and we need a functioning mind. Okay, because the body, what happens is through the sense organs, the body studies the reality, right? It gets impressions of what's happening through our food, through all the information that's coming through the sense of organs, through ears, through eyes, through smell, through touch, through our thoughts, we are getting information.
Correct.
Our mind is working to elaborate it, right? To elaborate it. And
And
then it translates it to the soul. So the
yeah.
soul is experiencing this reality. Okay. The the problem is when our body, when our sense organs or our mind is not working properly, then what happens is the information that we receive is being misinterpreted. Okay, and so it's not the correct information that's being transmitted, or sometimes it's not even transmitted, because if we don't understand we are a soul, we don't connect, everything stops at this level.
Correct. Okay. So Ayurveda, well, it's a philosophy as well, but also it's a way of life. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you not right now.
Okay.
I wonder if it's on my side. Let me try to do something.
Yes, I can hear you very well. Well, let me, during your preparation, let me welcome everybody watching us in Lebanon through the Balsam Spirit, Kausar, and all the ladies there and gentlemen
What
in
about right
Lebanon.
now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, Olya. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Anyway, there should be some technical problem. بدي رحب بجميع المعنى، جميع الأحباب اللي معنا من لبنان، من بلسم سبيريت، من كوثر، وكل الأصدقاء اللي موجودين بلبنان. بتشرف بوجودكم معنا، وراح نكون عندنا بث بالعربي وبالإنجليزي. وإن شاء الله تستمتعوا. إذا حدا عنده سؤال ممكن يسألني إياه بالعربي، وانا بترجمه لاوليا. So can you hear me now, Olya?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, the audience are hearing us both. Okay, so Veronica, hi Veronica,
Excellent.
and hi Sabrina, hi everyone. So we are very well set now. So tell me about the Ayurveda. Now, about the philosophy, we know it came from long time ago, thousands of years. But now, how can this Ayurveda affect our life? How can we live? How can we be normal people and use Ayurveda to make us better?
Okay. Um, to be honest to you, I think the question is different. How can we live without using the knowledge that Ayurveda is offering? Because Ayurveda is it's very practical. And if you think about it, when we buy a car, the first thing we take in our hands is the manual of use, right? We want to know how to turn on the car, how to turn on the lights, how it works, how it turns right, how it turns left, how often do we change oil, what do we need to do if it breaks. We have a manual this thick, right?
Yes,
So when we come on this earth, do we have a manual of how we need to live, how we need to function so that we are healthy, happy? Because our underlying condition is we should always feel happy, energetic, healthy, beautifully looking, young, and without heavy thoughts. This is our underlying condition, but we're not feeling that way. So, since we were born, do we ever look at anything that tells us how to live day by day, what to eat, what to drink, when to sleep, how long to sleep, who to, what to pursue in life, what occupation? I mean, all these questions need to be answered. We don't do it. We think, oh, okay, I should too. Everybody should too. And then we wonder. Everybody feels angry and sad. Oh, I am too. It's like what Ayurveda is. It's a complete manual for how the human system needs to work in this life, how it needs to be taken care of in this life on
yes,
Earth,
yes,
so that it can fulfill its mission. So, to make a short answer, is that it tells you, um, because we're all different, right? You don't look like me. I don't look like my neighbor. We can have similar interests. We can think alike, but it doesn't mean that whatever food is good for you will be good for me.
uh-huh,
And you can eat the most healthy and fresh food, but if your body is not able to digest it properly and transform it into something usable for you, it will be damaging for you.
correct.
Okay. um in Ayurveda, food, because what happens is, um our body grows, of course, grows, develops. Our body and our mind continuously gets information from outside world. It gets it in way of food, physical food, because that's what our body is made of, and from um, everything that comes through organs, of sensory organs. So everything I see informs my system. So consider, if you're watching peaceful, harmonious images, then your system is really receiving that kind of information, and it's becoming part of you. I
Yes.
think I've lost you for a moment.
No, no, I'm here. I was just trying to put something. Yes.
Okay, okay. And as opposite, if I am continuously watching news or some violent movies or some kind of, really aggressive so soccer matches, this is the information coming to me, and it is becoming part of my system because everything that comes in becomes transformed and becomes part of me.
Yes.
So if we are not careful what we let inside our body, and again, it's not just the form of physical food I put on my mouth, it's what I hear, what I see, what I sense with my body. Like if I am always in a cold climate or I'm always in a hot climate, it affects how I feel long term. It affects who I am becoming as a person. Okay? So
Yes.
because most of life and most of us, we don't pay attention to this. We're quite unconscious of this. But it
Yes.
doesn't take away the fact that it's working still, right? So if we what I think Ayurveda is doing is it's shining light on this information, and it tells you, okay, you can choose to live a certain way, you can choose to eat certain foods, you can choose to hang out with certain people and watch certain programs or participate in certain meetings, but know this is how it's going to affect how you feel, how your health, physical health and mental health is going to evolve. Then you make your own choice.
Yes. Can I ask you a question? You know, Ayurveda, as it's, let us talk about the physical side of the Ayurveda now before going to the emotions and thoughts. Physically, how can a client comes to you and tells you, for example, I have a problem with my stomach, I have a problem with my digestion. What would you advise him to do if, from the Ayurvedic point of view?
Mhm. Yeah, it's a very good question because, to be honest to you, most people these days have digestive problems. And I hear a lot of these kind of questions. The first thing I would suggest is we have an interview. It's kind of a to ask a person, because Ayurveda, as you understood, looks 360 degrees of a person. It doesn't address just your stomach or what's happening in your digestive tract, because Ayurveda says everything is part of the whole system, right?
Okay.
So first we need to analyze where the problem is coming from. Okay, so the questions that need to be answered is, what is the lifestyle of the person? Because lifestyle is affecting tremendously of how we are feeling and how we are digesting. And just to give you an example, um, in the arc of 20 hours, those original energies, the vata, pitta, and kapha, which we haven't talked about, but this is probably what the most people know about Ayurveda. Those energies are not only present in us, they are present in entire universe. And in 24-hour circle, these energies are coming in 2 times, and they're performing a specific function. And just to give you an example, the energy of pitta, which is the fire energy, the transformative energy,
Mm.
is high around midday and midnight. So if a person is telling me I'm having lunch at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because that's when I get a break from work, or I skip lunch, and then I feel like I have, really burning in my stomach all the time, I'm not surprised, because at midday, if this person, for example, and we will learn it while I'm talking to a person, we understand, what constitution he has or she has.
Mhm.
If this person has a predisposition to pitta constitution, so fire constitution, and during the highest peak of pitta, which is noon, is not introducing food, what it's doing is it's eating up its stomach. The digestive juices are there, the fire is burning, and you don't have anything to put on. It starts to eat itself, basically.
Mm.
I'm exaggerating it, but I'm trying to make an example of how lifestyle can play into what the person does or how a person feels. For example, if a person says, I eat a really nice big lunch and then I drink a glass of cold water after the meal and then I feel bloated. Okay, again, this is in Ayurveda, this is very explainable because what happens is you putting food, your fire is burning, it's transforming, and you're putting cold water on top of it. What happens if you have a fireplace going in your house and you put a bucket of cold water on top of it?
It will burn more. Yeah.
Okay, so you understand.
Mm.
No, it will turn off. Cold water on top of the fire takes the fire off.
Oh
So
yeah.
your food, instead of being digested, like you do in a barbecue, your meat
Yeah.
is cooking on top of the barbecue, and then you put cold water.
Yes.
So just by making adjustments to the how a person is approaching food, already
Yeah.
can resolve 50% of all the problems the person has. Then we can look at, okay, but what do you eat? A part of when you eat it. What do you eat? And again, if a person is eating the foods that are not very well suitable for that person's diet, for example, a person that is kapha, which has very slow metabolism, the energy of kapha is cold because it's water and earth, these two elements, okay? And if a person with this kind of constitution is eating foods that are more cold and heavy, maybe eating a lot of steaks and a lot of, really heavy, slowly digestible food, on top of its already predisposition to slow digestion, it's create double effect. It will never
Mhm.
digest. So,
Yeah.
in Ayurveda, of course, the concept is to balance any disorder that you have, you introduce opposite qualities. So, if somebody is cold, but it's very logical. That's why I'm saying Ayurveda, it's so logical and so practical. If you're cold, you put on a warm coat, right? If you're hot, you want to cool off with something. It's the same principle. So if you come into me and say I'm burning, or my head is burning, I have too many thoughts in my head, okay, we need something to cool it off. And Ayurveda has a lot of ways, through physical treatments, through oil massages, through specific procedures, through supplements that you take by your mouth, to take the heat out or to introduce more warmth if it's needed. So to basically rebalance the proper constitution of your nature. It's not, and that's why, it's very interesting, because Western medicine is treating everybody alike, right? You have a headache, I give you a pill, and that pill I will give to your neighbor, to your mother, to your child, to everybody, the same pill. Ayurveda says there's not one pill for everybody because we're all different. So what works for me doesn't work for you.
Mm. Mm.
And to me, this is the real beauty of this, because what it says is there's no better or worse. We all are different completely, like our finger imprints. We all have completely unique imprints, and so is our system, and so is our health. In fact, the definition of health in Ayurveda is when your system is in balance, but that balance is unique to you. And so it's very important to understand what is the person's doshic type, right? The one that it is born with. So if you were born as a Vata person or as a Vata Pitta, whatever that type is, Ayurveda is trying to bring you back to that type, because during your life, based on your food, your lifestyle, your kind of life situation, you probably veered away from that original combination, and now all you need to do is bring yourself back to your constitution, which doesn't mean that a heavy person needs to lose weight and become thin. This is absurd. For that person, maybe having those extra 10 kilos respect to standard average norm, that's what is health. And for another person, being very skinny is healthy because that's his original constitution. He doesn't need to gain 10 kilos to be average. This is really an absurd term. It doesn't exist an average person in Ayurveda. It's a nonsense.
Okay, now if the heartburns that usually appears at night, heartburns, this reflux.
Yes.
Okay, how do you treat
Yes.
such a thing? Treatment. I want a treatment, specific treatment. How do you treat such a thing?
Again, it depends what the heartburn is based on. I don't know if this is because the person is eating at midnight, then goes to sleep, and of course, all that food is not being digested; it's coming back out. It depends, but generally, heartburn is that reflex of acidity. So what you need to do is calm down. It's pitta. Pitta is the fire that's burning improperly, and that needs to be calmed down. And there are certain things like in Ayurveda they promote a lot milk, milk with certain spices like cardamom, which are calming and soothing. So
Okay,
something, I don't know if this person is allergic to milk. Again, it's difficult to say generic things, but the idea is if it's burning, you need to cool it.
okay, and each one has a different way to cool down his this acidity. So if we talk about milk alone,
Yeah.
is milk is a way, or no? It has to be with some the cardamom or something else.
Yeah, usually they always suggest milk with some spices because spices usually help digest. They are keeping the healthy fire going, that it will be digested, metabolized, absorbed.
Okay.
And Ayurveda is very favorable for spices. They don't need to be spices that are burning, the spicy spices. I'm talking more about this kind of herbs, if you want to say it.
Yeah, yeah.
And something, if a person, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a question here. It's from Maria. Yeah, it's from Maria. Ayurveda science. Can you read it on the screen? Ayurveda science can help our
No, unfortunately, I can't.
You cannot see. Okay, I will read it for you. Are you
Say it
listening?
again.
Mariella is asking this question. Ayurveda science can help our vegetative system. I mean, panic attack, depression, anxiety, stomach ache, headaches, and stress symptoms. She's asking whether the Ayurveda can help in such cases. Neurovegetative system, panic attacks, depression,
Yes.
anxiety. Yeah. Can you answer her question, please?
Yes, Maria. Ayurveda absolutely can help. Because, for example, I can tell you that, for example, panic attacks and fear is a typical disorder of Vata. When Vata goes out of control, it becomes too much, it results in this kind of symptoms. So typically, Ayurveda is what it does is trying to bring Vata in its original shape, basically reduce it. Things like depression depends. Depression is quite typical of Kapha disbalance. When kapha goes too much, they becomes too much water and earth element. First, we start feeling lethargic. We don't want to do things. We start feeling stagnation, and to the extreme, it can cause depression. This is the kind of the opposite end of the healthy kapha.
Mm.
So, absolutely, to answer short, Ayurveda can help with this. In fact, Ayurveda has not only physical treatments, but also has its own psychotherapy. It's a very comprehensive 360-degree medicine. It's largely preventive because it's trying to educate people and into the correct lifestyle so that you don't arrive to conditions like depression or panic attacks. But if you do get there, then it brings you back. You just need to know that there is not a magic pill overnight solution, because you coming to the condition of depression or panic attack was not an overnight condition, right? It's something that over time we have developed with a proper, could be diet, could be lifestyle, could be surroundings. Everything that entered in our system slowly brought us to this kind of disequilibrium, let's say. And
Mhm.
Ayurveda brings it back.
Good.
It may not take you years, but it definitely won't happen overnight.
Okay, so now I want from you an advice about the breakfast, okay, and dinner and lunch,
Yes.
lunch and dinner. So, what is your advice? What do you advise people in general what to do in the breakfast, what to do in the lunch and dinner?
Okay. We again going back
Simply,
to
we don't want to go
the
into much
same
detail,
thing
but
about
simply for
there's no.
general public.
Okay. In general, I would just tell you this: breakfast should be eaten by 8, between 7 and 8 in the morning. Okay. So there should not be any breakfast at 11 o'clock. This is just the rule. And for breakfast, Ayurveda recommends, you can have tea, or tea without caffeine, or tisana, some bread, toast, oatmeal. You can have some fruit, milk with spices, something warm to get you going, something not a heavy eggs and ham kind of breakfast. It should give you enough energy to sustain you, but it should not make you heavy that you need to go and digest for hours.
Okay.
Again, it depends of how much hunger you have, what type you are, because some people don't want to have breakfast, and it's perfectly okay to skip it. Ayurveda doesn't force you to eat breakfast. In fact, it says if you do not have hunger, don't eat. Your body
So
doesn't
you
lie.
mean,
Usually,
yeah,
your
you
body
mean to
knows.
say, yeah. So some people they don't have breakfast. So you are saying it's okay if they don't have any
Yeah,
intention. So it's okay.
it's okay, because some people don't need it. For example, some kapha people, they don't get hungry until it's midday. And so if they eat it, they already have slow digestion, slow metabolism. For them, it's okay to skip breakfast.
Okay.
But people
Another
like
question.
Pita, they cannot, because they wake
Okay.
up. Yeah.
So in Ayurveda, it's okay if somebody doesn't have the
So it
ability
depends.
or to have the breakfast. It's okay. He will should have go to the lunch, right? Okay. So okay, let us talk
Yes.
about people who are starting their day by 12 o'clock noon. Can we move the breakfast to 12 o'clock noon, or they have to start with the lunch
People
and
that are starting the day. No, first of all, let's go back and say that according to Ayurveda, we have to get up at by 6 o'clock in the morning, because this is where the energy. Remember, I mentioned a little bit that we have in 24-hour clock we have these energies coming in, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, each 2 times. So between 2 in the morning and 6 in the morning, we have energy of Vata. And if you notice, even in history, all the prayers, all the meditations, all the spiritual work is done at that hour. Why? Because Vata energy in the universe, in our, in the air, and inside of us is really, really, really helping us to open up our minds, our conscious, to connect with God, to connect with our soul. This is the best time to do it. If we don't get up, don't wake up by 6 o'clock, we're entering into the kapha time frame. And from 6 in the morning until 10 in the morning, it's the kingdom of kapha in the universe. And the qualities of kapha are heavy, slow, kind of lethargic, very slow motion. So imagine if you wake up during those hours, you will have that kind of energy imprint on you for the rest of your day. Okay, so people that it sounds counter logical, but if you set your alarm and get up at 5 versus get up at 8 in the morning, you will have a much more energetic day and productive and clear in your mind when you wake up at 5 rather than having that extra 3 hours and waking up at 8.
Yeah.
Try
Yeah.
it if you haven't, and you will see, how it works. So just to tell you, people need to get up by 6 if you want to be in good, health, and have your breakfast by 8 maximum. Then you come to lunchtime. Lunchtime should be eaten around noon. Noon is the hottest time of the sun. This is when the sun is really out there, so basically between, let's say, 11 and 2, these are the hours to have your lunch. Because if you eat during that hour, even if you've gotten slow metabolism, even if you've gotten some problems with digestion, you are much more likely to digest the foods. If you would eat your lunch by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, chances are you will not digest that food. That internal fire has done its work, it's finished. And it's like, always think of that barbecue, you need to put meat at a certain time, because if you put it after an hour and your charcoals are already, half hot or not even hot, nothing will get cooked. And
Mm.
the problem with food not being cooked, it's not being eliminated from our body. Unfortunately, what happens is, what we eat, if the fire is working properly, it will burn it, transform it, digest it, and we will assimilate it. It will go to use for our mind and our physical body. If we don't digest it, uh, some part that has been digested will be or used or eliminated. But the part that has not been cooked properly, here is this is really, really important point. That food will not be assimilated and it will not be carried out of our body. It will remain inside in a form of, in Ayurveda, in Sanskrit, it's called ama. But what it is really, it's a sort of a toxin. It remains inside and starts accumulating. You do it 1 time, you do it 2 times, you do it 1 month, you do it 1 year. What happens? You start developing real diseases because that toxin is sitting inside of you. And you start feeling sluggish, you start not digesting anything, you start bloating, you start having really difficulty concentrating, you start sleeping bad, you start being irritated, you wonder why nothing is working. You start eating healthy food, but you're not digesting even that anymore. Okay, chances are you've accumulated that ama, that uncooked food that your body is not able to cook, to make it simple. And at that point, you do need to have special treatments to eliminate it from your system. In fact, in Ayurveda, I'm sure you have heard of panchakarma treatments. There are 5 treatments. It's called pancha because it's 5. It's done in a clinic with the supervision of a medical doctor because this is a very serious procedure. Basically, what it's doing through series of these treatments, it is locating that ama. It is in a way thawing it so it becomes liquid because in the body it gets really encrusted, and then it's taking it out completely. And you, after that whole thing is done and you are liberated from that toxin, you start feeling like completely brand new person, you know, like, because it's like you have a clean screen in front of you. With your mind you have fresh and clean view on life. You get rid of all the conditioning that, you know, was put for years, and with your body you start from a clean slate.
Yeah. So we are using panchakarma to sort out with this problem. No other food or vegetables or anything to eat and continuously. So this will make ease or
No, of course, adjustment.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you
So
can make adjustments to your diet. That's why I'm saying the first thing. Yeah,
the antioxidants. You mean to use
go ahead.
antioxidants?
Uh, yeah, they don't call them necessarily antioxidants, but these are you can introduce um, certain I don't want to call it medications. They're not medications. They're supplements. Okay, they're herbal supplements that are helping your body to start eliminating, right? To collect that toxin and eliminate it. It's a slow process.
What
It's
are these? Can you give us any? Okay, something happened to your phone. Something happened to her phone until she can adjust it. Okay, she's back.
Are you there? Yes.
Are you there? We are waiting for you.
You can see me now, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
I think I'm back. Can you see me? Okay.
Yes, we can see you. Okay,
Okay.
so let us make it brief because almost we have to close in 5 minutes. First of all, what are the antioxidants
Okay.
or the herbs or the foods or the vegetables that we have to eat to clear up all these, remaining waste in our system?
Again, there's not a general thing. It depends. But for example, to
There was an interruption. Earlier, there was an interruption from your side. We were not able to hear you. Hello, Samra. Welcome. Can you hear me now,
can
Olia?
you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you
I can.
now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, but yes,
Yes.
go on. Go on. Please talk.
So what I was saying is, for example, um, there are herbs, there are things that you can eat that are bitter in taste. For example, um, chicoria. I don't know if this, you know that herb. It's like a lot of green leaf salads that are bitter in taste.
Yeah.
Those are very good to really clean up blood, to clean up liver. They're having an effect of purification. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you say the name again?
For example, chicoria root. Any green leafy vegetables, again, this is not just like tomatoes or cucumbers. They're leaves and they're usually dark green and bitter.
Mm.
You know,
Yes.
okay. So those are very good to clean. You know, tarasaco. I don't know if it's a actually. I don't know if it's an Italian or English name, but those are really really good to eat or make smoothies. You know, or to make blend them and drink them like this in the morning. This is really really good because it's very cleansing for the system.
Yeah.
There are some also supplements. I don't know if you heard of trifala. Trifala has this kind of effect. It's really helping the body to bring in balance all three doshas and eliminate some wastes. But I would not go for giving those advices in a generic manner because I don't think it's very proper
Yes.
and very useful. You know.
So you advise if anybody has any problem, they should come back to you privately or one to one, so you can, treat them, or they have to see a proper specialist in this, because what
Yeah,
goes on
I
on
would
you
definitely.
doesn't work on you. Hi,
Yeah,
Radkesh.
I'm happy to answer any questions, but if it's a condition and they have an Ayurvedic doctor available close by, I think it's really a good idea to go and get a check.
Okay, let's go to dinner.
Yes.
Okay, what time is the proper, and what shall we eat, and what time we should refrain from eating?
Okay. Dinner has to be eaten. You know, Ayurveda says it should be very light. The heaviest meal of the day should be lunch, which is we said around noontime. Dinner should be quite light, and it should be eaten around 6 or 7 in the evening.
Yes.
Um, Again, rice, vegetables, uh, cooked vegetables are more digestible, by the way, because I know a lot of people decide to be healthy and start eating a lot of salads, and then they bloat and they don't know why they bloated. Well,
Mm.
salads are very difficult to digest, actually. It's true that they have a lot of life energy, a lot of prana. So when somebody is feeling, kind of sluggish and tired after the whole day, a good salad can bring that energy up. But if you want to go into the calming mood, prepare yourself for sleeping, for meditation, for restful night, it's better to eat cooked vegetables. You can boil them, or you can saute them with some herbs, because herbs again are helping your digestive fire to do its work. At night, in the evening time, lunch, dinner time, fire is not so hot, by the way, and so it's useful to add a little bit of those herbs. I don't know what you have at your hand, I'm rosmarino, those kind of cooking herbs, to add to your rice and vegetables. This is the best you can do. If you eat a heavy steak at dinner, you will take hours to digest it. Chances are it won't get digested. You will sleep on it, and then in the morning, night will be quite heavy because you will be digesting. Mm, you have to remember, we haven't had time to talk about it, but at night, all your body is doing a different function. The vata, pitta, kapha energies are coming again as they came during the day for a specific function. And I said, you meditate at certain hour, you eat at certain hour. At night, those energies come back again, but they assume you're sleeping. So what they're doing is they're working with your nervous system and with all your bodily systems to create new cells, eliminate dead cells, adjust what's not working, rebalance your doshas, rebalance your system. So it's critically important that you are sleeping by 10 o'clock, because from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock is when your nervous system gets rebalanced and recharged. And if during the time you're watching a movie or you're dancing or you're eating, even worse, your nervous system has not been recharged. It's okay to do it once, twice, but if you do it for years, then you can start really developing anxiety, panic disorders, depression, and you don't know why. But if your nervous system was never replenished in these years, this is a clear, kind of logical path to, unhealthy kind of conditions.
Mm.
Then your liver needs to get clean. Every hour of the night, something gets cleansed, cleaned, rejuvenated, replenished. It's very important to sleep because your mind needs to be away.
It's not
This
only
is not
sleep,
the
sleep.
part of nervous system.
It's not only to
Yes,
sleep at specific times.
absolutely. Ayurveda is very precise when you need to sleep, when you need to be awake, and when you're awake, what you need to be doing. Because certain hours of the day is promoting certain activities. I know a lot of people go to the gym, for example, after dinner or before dinner or instead of dinner. This is very, very unhealthy. Even worse, they skip lunch, and at lunch hour from work, they go to the gym. Again, you're not using that energy in a proper way. So, again, nothing happens critical if you do it one time, but if you do it day after day, week after week, month after month, you will come to a point where you say, oh my God, I'm feeling horrible and I don't know why. And then you
Mm.
go and you take some medicine and painkillers or some kind of anti-acid medicine, but they're not resolving anything because you continue in the wrong lifestyle that brought you to this condition. Okay. And if
Yes.
you don't stop it and you just take some painkillers, it's almost worse because you continue making damages while you're covering it with painkillers. And then
Yeah.
years down the road, you got a chronic condition that nobody can resolve.
Yeah. Only here in the Middle
So,
East, most of my audience are in the Middle East, and especially in Lebanon, and we have habits of staying late at night. So the dinner wouldn't be served until 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. So we start eating at 11 p.m. Okay, so
yeah.
this is the way of life we have here in the Middle East, and yeah. So imagine that you eat at 11 o'clock, and then you go to bed maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's a difficult way of life. So I would advise these people, or you want to advise the people to go to have a break and go to maybe health farm for a week or 2 weeks to recharge their bodies. What do you think about that?
I think it's a great idea. And of course, I'm aware of the different traditions. I live in Italy. Italy also has a late dinner and its own lifestyle, and it's not easy to eat dinner at 6. No restaurant is open before 7:38. First of all, so you go against the common thought form. What I would advise, honestly, is for you or for people that are interested in exploring this kind of tradition of Ayurveda, I would say try it yourself. Try it for a couple of weeks for the fun of it. Because, of course, your relatives, your friends will say you're crazy. What are you doing? And, you don't fit in at all. But if you just do it for the fun of it and notice how you start feeling physically and mentally, just for your own sake, for the game of it, and maybe journal every day. I got up by 6 o'clock, and this is how I felt through the rest of the day. I ate dinner at maybe 8 instead of 11. Okay, let's not go to real, like, orthodox ways, but adjust in some way that is possible for you, and test it for 2 weeks, and then you will see, and then you can decide. Because, like I said, Ayurveda is not forcing anyone. It's just telling you, I can show you how you can be healthy. You then make your choices because of, whatever your life conditions are, your life family situation is. But at least you're aware of your choice. And when you put in that steak in your mouth, you're aware of the consequence. But then you decide to do it anyway, it's up to you,
Correct, correct. Yes, I want you, please, Olya, to prepare for next time a special diet or a special instruction for Middle Eastern, for people like us, like me. You know, we live differently, different than what in India they live, and we live differently than Europe. You know, we start our day late, we finish our work also late, 9, 10 o'clock sometimes at night. That's how it works. And also we eat late, so we cannot change. It's difficult to change. It's when you change such a habit, then you'll see yourself an outcast. Nobody will invite you. You will not see anybody, and you will be on a different thing. So if you please, you can prepare some advices for our people next time we meet. I will be thankful for that.
Okay. That would be a good challenge for me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's because we want to give a good advice for the people living in this area. Now, during the COVID,
Of
we have a
course.
lockdown, so it's mixed up day and night. We don't know what's the day and what's the night. But after life comes back, we will come back to our the life we were living in. I hope so, and then we will have such a problem. In the problem of the diets, when to eat, what to eat, and how to eat, how to treat yourself when you are not eating properly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think, for people to start even paying attention to what happens, what they eat, and how they feel afterwards. Because sometimes we know ourselves what is good for us and what is not good for us.
Mm.
And if we keep some kind of mental journal or physical journal, after a while we start seeing the patterns. Oh, I eat pasta at noon, and then I sleep for 3 hours. Okay, next time I try a salad. Oh, look, I'm awake and everything is wonderful. So I think at the end of the day, yes, of course, recommendations are good, but also each one of us is in charge of our own health. And it's good to start paying attention, right? To how our own body is reacting to certain things.
Yes. So let me summarize what we have said in Arabic for our Arab audience. So أوليا اللي هي
Okay.
مختصة بالأيurveda عم تنصحنا عن بموضوع الأكل. الأيurveda موضوع الأكل بتقول إنه جسم الإنسان، كل إنسان جسمه مختلف عن الآخر. يلي ممكن يكون جيد لإلي ممكن يكون مش جيد للآخرين. والأكل يلي بيفيدني أنا مش ضروري هو يفيد الآخرين تمام كمان. فلذلك هي عم بتقول اذا في عندنا مشاكل معينه بالمعده او مشاكل عم تحصل ونحن بنفتكر هو انه السبب من الاكل، فبدنا نجرب يعني باي ترايل اند ايرور مثل ما بيقولوا بالتجربه، انه مثلا نحن اذا اكلنا ماده معينه بعد منها صار عندنا مشاكل، لما اكلنا ماده ثانيه كنا مرتاحين اكثر. بهالشكل نحن بنعمل باي اليمينيشن بالاختزال شو الاشياء المفيده لنا وشو الاشياء المش مفيده لنا. كمان اوليا بتنصح انه نوعها بكير كثير. المفروض الترويقه تكون الفطور يكون الساعه بين السبعة وثمانية، بين الستة وثمانية، نوع الساعة 5، ويكون الفطور بين الساعة 6 للساعة 8. الغداء بيكون بين 12 و2، والعشاء الساعة 8 عشية. هيدا الايديال، هيدا الشيء الافضل انه ينعمل. يمكن خرافي بالنسبة للبعض وانا واحد منهم، بس بنحاول انه نعمل بهالطريقه هيدي. اذا في اي حدا عنده اسئله عن هذا الموضوع بليز ابعثوا لي اياها، وانا بسال اوليا، او ممكن نعمل ندو جلسه ثانيه نحكي فيها عن كل هالمواضيع. Olia, I thank you so much. Now, when I started speaking Arabic, we had many more audience. So next time we will have to prepare a better, to be ready more, and probably we prepare the questions beforehand, so you'll be ready to answer all these people, and I will translate.
Yeah, that would be good, because that way I can judge what are people interested in mostly.
Yes, that's right. Okay, dear. So now we'll come to an end for this lovely interview. I will thank everybody who attended us. Mariella, Nisreen, hi Nisreen. Nisreen is asking what time she has to sleep.
Well, it's already past the bedtime, I think, because according to Ayurveda, you need to be in bed by 10 o'clock.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. I told you, here we live in a different life, and especially these days
Yes.
with this COVID things, everything is messed. Okay, I thank you all for listening. If anyone has a question, let us write it. Send me or Olia the question, and we'll have another session. Maybe we'll have it multilingual as well. Olia, I thank you so much. It was very informative and very nice. I wish you all the luck in the world, and I hope that we will meet always on this platform and in real life. You are in Italy, I'm
Yes.
in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you so much. It was really a lot of fun to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I say bye bye for you and for everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nisreen. Thank you, Kausar, Mariella, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Good evening.
Somebody, wait. Somebody said about insulin. What's that? See you next time. Insulin grows up. Okay, I could not understand Mariella's question about the insulin. Okay. Anyways, next time we'll answer her about the insulin.
Okay. Okay. Oh, she can write on the chat.
Yes.
Okay. Bye.
Lavkesh, thank you. Okay, bye bye. Good night.